Good morning everyone at Lower, this is Mr. Jacobs. I need your help this week please. My lunches have become a little bit boring if truth be told. With my wife and I sharing the homeschooling of my two, we each take responsibility in getting the lunches prepared and my lunches have become a little bit dull. I have come up with a PowerPoint that's even more exciting than what I've been doing, so perhaps I should listen to my PowerPoint as well. What I like to do is to watch the PowerPoint through, and it should hopefully give you some ideas on what you might want to do to create a lunch for yourself and or for the whole family. So if you want to set yourself a bigger challenge, then decide, right, mum, dad, whoever's there with you, I'm making lunch today, and then you need to come up with some ideas on how to do that. Follow some of the help on that PowerPoint, so you might create a menu, instruction list, you might do pictures, you might ask them, you might use what you know they like already to create a lunch for them. Choose a day that you talk about through with an adult that's the more convenient day to create this lunch. It might be that you're having a food delivery on Tuesday or Wednesday, or someone's going shopping for you Tuesday or Wednesday. You've got more in your cupboards to do this on, say, Thursday. However, talk to your adults, see what you've got in your fridge and your cupboards, and you might come up with something already. Extra challenge if you want to incorporate some literacy into this. Now you might think, oh, literacy writing doesn't have to be that much. You could create a list of ingredients or a shopping list that you might give to somebody else if they want to copy your ideas. You might come up with a critique of your food. So you might say what you like about it, what you thought you could improve upon, and you might even be as strong to say what you didn't like about it. Perhaps that egg mayonnaise with Branston pickle wasn't quite what you had in mind when you set about making it. You could also create a recipe. So if you created something that's a little bit more challenging than cheese on toast, you might actually have a recipe to follow. Anything you can do to accompany what you make in the kitchen would be fantastic. And please, if you do create any recipes or good ideas, email them to your teacher or directly to me, because I seriously need your help. Stay safe, take care, and I hope to see those sandwich lists soon. Bye bye. Okay, so today's creative challenge is to create a lunch for yourself and or for your family. So what you need to do first is check the ingredients you've got in your fridge and your cupboard, and then have a think about what you're going to offer. You might have these kind of ingredients: cheese, ham, some lettuce, a tin of tuna maybe, a tin of sweet corn, some bread obviously. If you're making sandwiches you're going to need that. You might have some chicken, leftover chicken maybe from a roast dinner you've had, or some chicken fillets or some cold chicken. You might have some mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise with my sandwich. You may have some salad items like tomato and cucumber, some bread rolls. You might prefer some honey in your sandwiches. You might prefer jam sandwiches. I do like some Branston pickle with my cheese sandwich whenever I have cheese. And I love egg mayonnaise. So if you've got some eggs, you might want to boil some eggs to make some egg mayonnaise. With all these ingredients, what could you make with them? What kind of menu could you create? Will you provide a selection of ingredients for your family to choose from on the dinner table? So you could give everyone a plate, and in the middle of your dinner table have as many of those items we've just shown, or what you've got in your own fridge or your cupboard, and they can just pick and choose like a cold selection lunch. Will you create a plate of sandwich that they can then choose from? So instead of asking them individually what sandwiches they want, will you use your knowledge of what they like and what they don't like and create a platter of sandwiches that they can then choose from? If you want to make sandwiches, do you know what each person likes? So if you're going to make set sandwiches, so for mum might want a cheese sandwich, dad might want some ham with lettuce, cucumber and tomato, for example. You might want tuna and cucumber. Create a list of sandwiches that you know people like and then make them from there. If you want to make something hot, there is one golden rule. You must have help from an adult. I'm sure, like me, they're happy to do something with you that's hot, but you've just got to observe safety precautions and make sure that you're well protected. What choices could you use for a lunch for something hot? Could be a toasted sandwich. If some of you are lucky enough to have a sandwich toaster, maker, something I had when I was living at home with my parents as a child. We loved making cheese, baked beans, and even I used to put in mushrooms and bacon toasted sandwiches. Brilliant. Or you might want to boil an egg. Some of you like, I know my children like boiling an egg where it's nice and runny, about 4.5 minutes, and then dipping in some toasted soldiers into it. You may want to go and make an omelette. I know some of you may have done that in some of the skills sessions we do at school. Maybe you'd like an omelette. A bacon roll. Cannot go wrong with a bacon roll. So if you've got some bacon roll in the fridge, guarantee that's going to be a winner for most of your family. A baked potato. Sometimes a baked potato can seem quite bland if you're just going to put butter or cheese on it. But with your imagination and what you might have in your fridge and cupboards, I'm sure you could come up with something very good for a baked potato. Depending on the size potato, 7 or 8 minutes in the microwave. You could put it in the oven after that for 5 minutes with some oil over it to make a nice crispy outing to your potato. But speak to a parent, they'll be more than happy to help you with that. Baked beans on toast with or without an egg too. My kids love baked beans on toast, and then I tend to do a poached egg that can sit on top of that. But again, you've got your own ideas, and I'm sure your parents will have some. Extra challenges for you. So you could create a bit of a literacy lesson with this. Could you write a menu? Could you write some invitations to invite your family to your lunch? Could you write a recipe for one or all of your creations, if any of them require a little bit of a recipe? You could create a feedback form for your guests to rate your lunch. So you could use the resources that I've added to your emails this week. Could you take photographs of your food that you make, or could you draw pictures of the choices you're making and present them in like a picture menu? Could you create place names for your table? So if you're inviting everyone in your house around the table for lunch, could you create some place names? Also, could you write a food critique about your lunch? With a critique, you would say what went well, what tasted nice, but you might also mention what could you improve on. So maybe something didn't quite taste right. So for example, if you did hot bacon with cold beans in a toasted sandwich, you might think didn't quite taste right. If the beans were hot as well, it would have been better. Equally, I'm trying to think of something that you wouldn't put with something. I wouldn't necessarily put pickle in with egg mayonnaise. I don't like the sound of that. That might tickle your fancy. You could try it and then you could comment about it afterwards. But have a look in your cupboards, have a look in your fridge and see what you can come up with and create for your lunch. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye bye.